All right. So welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. I'm your host, Ian Ray. And today we have a guest, and her name is Shirel Bronizer.
Yes. Hi,
Yes.
guys. Thanks for having
Yes.
me.
But I'm excited because she has a very unique perspective of how she incorporates FSD, what she's doing currently right now with her work, her own practice that she has, and her method. And we're going to dive into this. So please introduce yourself, your name, where you're located, and what do you do for work?
Yeah, so I'm Shirel. I'm an aesthetic therapist, fascial stretch therapist, also a choreographer. I'm based out of North York, so kind of Greater Toronto area. My clinic is located in Thornhill, and my dance studio is called All That Dance. Basically, I'm very involved in sports rehab, mainly dancers, a little bit of gymnastics, and I'm also starting to dabble and kind of get into hockey as well. Yeah, and then we'll get in.
You're in Canada, so you have to.
I'm in Canada, so it's so niche, we can't not do it. So I'm learning a lot. It's great. I love it.
Awesome. So tell me, I guess, give me how long you've been doing what you're doing as an athletic therapist, and of course, dance. I know you have a history of dance. That's been your passion of yours, correct?
Yeah, so I'm currently 26, and I started when I was 2. So if you do the math, that's 24 years in the dance industry. Long time. We're gonna keep it going. Yeah, we got the class going. And I've been a practicing practitioner for just over a year as an athletic therapist, and we did the fascial stretch therapy course together this past July. So it's only been about a couple months. Loving it so far, learning a lot, and yeah, I'm very grateful. We're gonna keep I like to say every time I do all these courses, I like to collect letters to my name like they're Pokemon. So we're on the way to collecting all the ABC. That's great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get started with like dance and like being an athletic therapist, or even like I know you're a choreographer also because of dance, right? So, but how did this passion and this the field that you're doing, how did you get involved with that?
It actually came to me very seamlessly. It almost like fit into my life like it was meant to happen. I grew up dancing. Like I said, I started when I was 2. I took it competitive when I was about 8 years old, did that for 11 years. And then from there, I took it professional for a couple of years. And then obviously COVID happened. So there wasn't a lot of opportunities for performances. I competed a lot. So I did a lot of like national and international competitions. I won like several titles and stuff and did a lot of really great competitions. One of them was like in South Africa, which was such an incredible experience. We won gold. That's like my fun fact. Everyone's like, name 2 fun facts about me. And I'm like, I won gold in South Africa.
I can't top that.
So, yeah, I've always had a passion. Like I always grew up being like a complete science nerd when it comes to the human body. I love all things anatomy, biology, biomechanics. Like I hated physics, but the second you like you connect it to the body, I'm like, yes, I love these equations.
So did you like math and stuff or history? I don't know if you guys did math.
We did. Yeah, we did. I liked math when I was good at it. I became better at it like as time progressed. For some reason, like the harder it got, I understood it more. I can't really explain that. I don't really do too much math now. I don't do too much of it. But yeah, so I've always had a passion for science and the human body. And then I went to York University to do my undergrad in kinesiology. And in my second year, I was told about this program that York offers called a certificate of athletic therapy. I was like, athletic therapy, okay, like athletes already in that field, therapy, science. So I literally saw this like moment where they're like connecting sports and science together. And it was like the most beautiful marriage. And when I found that, I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And I've always known I wanted to be involved in sports in whatever capacity. Obviously, like from like a science perspective, I just didn't know what that was going to be like. And then one day that just fell into my lap. So I applied. That program is about 3 years, but my degree took 7 years to complete because of strikes and COVID. So that was really fun.
Wow.
Took a long time. But here we are. We're here. We made it. We made it out. Yeah, so I did that. And yeah, I wrote my exam last June, graduated, and I've been practicing ever since and loving it. It's great.
That's crazy to have that in Canada, this athletic therapy. I think that's awesome. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that if we have it similar in US, but
It actually came from the States. Like, it's very popular. I always say when everyone asks me, like, what's your job? I'm like, do you watch the Super Bowl? And they're like, yes. I'm like, you know those people running on with the fanny packs when they get hurt? I'm like, that's
okay.
me. That's what I do. Technically, it's a little, yeah, that's a portion of what we do.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess it would be like more athletic therapist, so physical therapist. Okay. In that
Yeah, I
realm.
think in the States they're called athletic trainers. Maybe that's more familiar.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's
yes.
similar. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for clarifying that. See,
Yeah, of
so
course.
we live right next to each other in the border,
We're
but I still
neighbors
not.
and we don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story that you have. So tell me the demographic or the population that you typically work with. Who are they? You know, what are they coming in with? Type of injury or background.
I see men and women. I see kids. I see people in their 60s, 70s. I see all kinds of things. Obviously, my target audience would be athletes, anyone ages 8 to, I guess, late 20s. But I treat everybody. So as an athletic therapist, I'm not just working with professional hockey players. I'm working with anybody that would like to maintain or develop a healthy physical lifestyle and they have injuries. So I like to say we have a very similar scope of practice to physiotherapist. I just have the lens as a how can we incorporate sports? How can we incorporate physical activity? So if I have, for example, man and a 50-year-old man coming in with a shoulder injury and an athlete 25 coming in with a shoulder injury, their bodies are different, but my lens is going to be very similar because at the end of the day, I'm trying to get them back to sport or back to healthy physical activity.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that realm, I know you started this reflex method. Can you kind of expound upon how did you find reflex method? What was the idea?
So I mentioned that I was a choreographer. I work with a lot of dancers basically every single day. And in the last couple of years, the amount of knee dislocations that I've seen. So forget other injuries. I've seen 4 knee dislocations at our studio in 1 year, which is just not normal. And as an athletic therapist, I have my kit in the car. I'm a certified first responder, so that's my job. If somebody's hurt, I'm the first on the scene. I can treat. And I'm thinking, what do other studios do when they don't have an athletic therapist? They don't have a first responder. Why is this happening and how can we fix it? So I developed the Reflex Method. I kind of just started this company as it means to bridge the gap in dance and healthcare because there aren't so many athletic therapists in dance, and for some reason dance isn't viewed as a sport the way hockey, football, soccer is, and I'm not sure why, because it's just as demanding physically, mentally, and it's very competitive. So I was like, okay, if there's no athletic therapists on the field, how can we implement healthcare and injury prevention and management in these studios to protect these dancers so they can go on and pursue their dreams and without any injuries holding them back? So what the Reflex Method is, there's different parts to it. I'm basically teaching injury prevention to dancers. So I teach them how they can treat themselves, how they can prevent injuries in the studio. And then I'm also creating programs for studio directors and dance instructors and choreographers that are these instructors to these kids, teaching them things to look out for. How can you correct incorrect placements, body mechanics, technique from an athletic therapist point of view?
That's interesting. Yeah, because obviously it's not like so in the US, I'm not sure. I mean, they have like, cheerleaders, but dance,
Oh yeah,
it does.
it's serious.
Yeah, I mean, dance, I can see that because you're like literally from the foot all the way up, you have to be strong. Like you're told, just like gymnasts, you have to have strong foot in order. So I can see that. I mean, I didn't know that there's a lot of knee displacements.
There's a lot of everything. There's knee dislocations. I had, not funny, I was going to say funnily enough, not funny at all. I had 10 shoulder dislocations growing up. Like my shoulder was, exactly. How? No one taught me like the biomechanics. No one taught me that there are different body types. There's hypermobility, which is you're super flexible, such as myself, or you're hypomobile, which you don't have that much range as somebody like as a normal person. So there's different injuries that can impact different bodies. And a lot of, I guess it's only like healthcare and the preventative healthcare is only now kind of starting. We're seeing the juicing and we're seeing the Pilates and all that stuff, like the health, like the cold tubs, like that's all part of preventative and manageable healthcare. So I guess back when I was dancing, they didn't really have that. They kind of had, we're teaching you dance, you're going on stage, and that's to no one's fault at all. Like it's just, I think, just the way of, that's just the way it was. So I'm just trying to see if we can somehow bridge the gap so we can prevent it from happening to other kids, basically. So I'm kind of creating this program that I can implement with the dancers, with the instructors, with the studio owners. And I'm also, because I work out of a clinic, I can also do individual assessments and give these kids individual programs for their injuries or a history of their injuries and apply it from a dance perspective. Because that's what I have.
So kind of segue into this, since and Frederick, you know, she was a dancer growing up, and same for you. Is that how you found Stretch to Win as a means to do these preventative things? You know,
so it's not how I found them, but when I found out that she was a dancer, I was like, see, it's meant to be. Like, she knows, she gets it. I know I'm here, like, I know this is something for me. So one of my clinic coworkers was like, I think you would benefit. She's just like, you're a dancer and you're a very fluid mover. Like, I'm someone who likes to, you know, maintain a healthy lifestyle. I like to work out a lot. I like to be moving a lot. And fascial stretch therapy is very fluid. Like, it's all to do with you're basically using your entire body and dancing for that whole treatment session. So she's like, I think this would be perfect for you. Look into it. I did, and I was like, this has my name written all over it. We got to do it. And lo and behold, that 1 week course that we did was so eye-opening. It's also made me a better clinician as an athletic therapist because it's made me look at assessments and treatments a lot differently than I did before. Yeah.
How so?
I'm looking at the body as a whole, as opposed to if somebody comes in for an ankle injury, I'm going to look at and rule out the rest of the limb, but I'm not going to look at the entire body because, for example, somebody with an pain in their Achilles, I wouldn't know to look, okay, see if they've got tension in the back of their head, like the occiput, right? Now I do. I'm like, hey, now we got to look at the entire posterior chain. Like maybe there's some discrepancies like higher up in the body that can lead to finding out like what the indices of suspicion are regarding the injury zone itself. Just for an example, like there's so many other ones, but mind-blowing.
Yeah, no, that's all. I agree. I think it's meant for you to do this FST. So
I really think so too.
Yeah. Did you have any like initial thoughts or hesitancy when you like enrolled before or like during the course, or were you already sold?
The only hesitancy I had, to be completely honest with you, was I'm out of Toronto and the course was in Burlington starting at 8:30, and I'm like, great, I have to wake up super early, drive an hour and 15 minutes every day to this random town to take this course every day. I'm going to be so miserable. I'm going to hate waking up. And then by the end of the first day, I'm like, I will wake up at 5 o'clock every day to do this. I'm having the best time. And I really did. They said, like, what is the key takeaway from this course? I go, number one, I don't need stretch therapy. I'm a super flexible person. And by the end of that week, I was so Gumby. I'm like, I need to hit the gym and work out because my muscles are so overstretched. I felt like I was about to dislocate every joint, number one. Number two, I was like, I will wake up anytime. I will literally not sleep just to make it, like, just to redo this course again. I had the best time.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I was talking to Kayla Ko, one of the instructors. I was like, level 2, I got to do it right away soon because I'm losing my touch already. And so like I know there's a lot of people out there in social media who are FST practitioners. I'm already seeing them. I'm like, dang, that's kind of things I want to do to help with my clients too. So that's awesome that you felt the same way.
Oh, I'm so excited to do the levels, but I'm gonna, I think, like push them as long as I can just to spread them out a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So how are you going to include FST with clients? I know you you have done a couple of sessions, right, with FSD for
Oh,
clients?
yeah.
Okay.
It's actually been, I'm surprised, not surprised really. It's just like I didn't anticipate it being that busy and people booking in like right away. Like it's a new thing, and weirdly enough, there are not a lot of FST practitioners in the Greater Toronto area. They're all like saturated downtown, and there's nothing in this area. So anybody that's Googling it, like they're finding our clinic, which is obviously a bonus. It's great. Um, and I actually had one guy on Saturday after the session. It was his first FST, and he had bought a package right after. He's like, "This is better than any massage I've ever gotten. This is what you're supposed to feel like after a massage." I'm like, yes. I'm like, and then I told him like, you're gonna sleep so well afterwards. You're gonna notice your recovery is better. And then he messaged me the next day. He's like, I napped for 2 hours. I haven't napped in years. So I've definitely been incorporating it a lot. Obviously in FST sessions, but it's really great for my general like AT sessions. It's great for rehab in general, anything to do with joint or muscle or even injuries that we can't really figure out why they're happening. And they're obviously like it benefits dancers and athletes so well. Like I incorporate it with every single session. I give them like a little like 5-minute like traction at the end of every. They love it. It's great.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm assuming that's one of your success stories of FST already. What you kind of told me.
Every session is becoming a success story. Like these patients just love it. Like I'm happy that people are realizing that, and I'm happy that people are getting to know fascia. Like fascia is such a, I call it the enigma. Like it's such a like mysterious tissue in the body that people are like, what the heck is fascia? And I try to explain, like when you buy a steak, you have to like clean like that white, like it's like a saran wrap kind of thing. Like, you know, that like white thing you have to like take off red meat. And they're all like, okay, yeah. It's like shiny. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what it is in your body. Think about it like saran wrap. And they're like, what the heck are you talking about? And then afterwards, they like, obviously you're not trying to like talk throughout the treatment, but then towards the end, they're like, I feel when you're pulling, I feel a pull like at the top of my head when you're pulling my feet. I'm like, it's because fascia is literally incorporated in your entire body. So I'm glad that people are starting to kind of pick up on that and recognizing that fascia can explain a lot of times why we have like injuries that have like idiopathic origins where you're not really sure why they're there. People just wake up with random aches and pains and have them for 5 years. And then they come in for a fascial stretch therapy session and they're like, I haven't felt pain free in like 5 years. Right? And they feel great after. So I'm glad that it's starting to pick up a little bit and people are getting more familiar with it. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the reasons I also did this podcast, because I want FSD, especially stretch to win, to be more of a a mainstream, more well-known thing. Because I didn't really know about stretch to win, honestly, when I first started. So I had a lot of hesitancy. But the more I started to look at videos and learn more about what Chris and Anne have done, they have legitimacy. They have all the credibility in the world. They've written books. They've done seminars. They worked with so many people, different types of people. And then of course myself, like I had to go to FSC session to believe like this is something more than just massage. It's not taken away from chiropractors or what massage therapists do. If anything, we're complimenting them.
We're complimenting 100%.
And so we're doing a lot of the work that they're missing out on,
Yeah.
So I feel like this is such a great passion of mine to do like a podcast, because I didn't have any resource when I was searching for a place to learn about fascia and stretch therapy. That I was like, I gotta do this podcast, because if it was me like a year ago and I need to find a resource, this would have been the podcast for me to learn about different people like yourself doing it, how they're using it, why they got involved with it. So it's just something that like I said, this is like a passion project that I kind of want to put up. So.
And the best projects and companies come from passion, right? Like that's where the Reflex Method came from. Like, why does this not exist? Let's start one. Figure it out. Right?
Yeah. So you already explained my next question about how do you explain fascia, about that little sheath of about that the white casing of the meat. I know what you're talking about.
I explain that to a lot of, I'm like, are you a meat eater? Do you eat steaks? And they're like, yes. And like, that like iridescent like film almost that you have to clean off of your steaks? And they're like, yes. I'm like, there you go. And then to vegans or people that are like, huh? Like they gave me that like face. I go, think of saran wrap. And no, I'm like, think of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Think of if your muscles were not contained in fascia, you would be a bag of skin with everything kind of falling. It's kind of like the connective tissue, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's what protects
Hold.
and maintains the shape of your muscles and helps keep everything kind of in their place. And because it's like so overlooked, and like the fascia itself can also be injured. And they're like,
Mhm.
and when I say the saran wrap, I'm like, just think of saran wrap. It's holding your tissue together. And they're like, oh, I don't know if they want me to stop talking. And they're like, oh, okay. Or they think I'm speaking like an alien language. But I think diagrams help.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of go to the steak and saran wrap analogy. That usually does it.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. I
Which
know for a
what
fact.
have you heard? Sorry, out of curiosity, what do you say?
Well, fascia, I kind of explain like an orange peel. So if you ever peel an orange, that white
Yep.
fiber that's around surrounded, that's fascia. That's everything.
Yep.
So, I hate peeling. I have to peel off that white thing.
But it's there. But
It's
it's
there.
there.
And so I explain to people like it's like that. Once you peel it off,
That's a good one.
it's surrounding it. But I know for a fact that whenever they did the cadavers, they
Yep.
didn't know back in the day that they're throwing away this piece of tissue. They're like,
Yep.
what is this? We don't need it, because they only
They
want to
just keep
know the muscle.
ripping all the white stuff away. Yeah.
So it's great that Chris and Anne have made this like their thing, and that fascia is important, and that it's a neuromuscular thing. It's a nervous system. It's
Yep.
what regulates everything. So man, we can go on, but
We
let's
can
go to
go
next.
on. We can geek out, I think, for hours. These are the conversations I like to have.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So for someone who doesn't know anything about like Stretch to Win, can you tell that person, like, if they're on the fence about enrolling with Stretch to Win, what can you tell them about Stretch to Win? I know you already had some kind of a leeway because you were referred to by a coworker, right? So, but someone was on the fence about it, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, well, number one, I don't know too much about any other programs offering fascial stretch therapy. It's kind of the first one. Honestly, I booked that one because it was available to me at the very, very rare time I have a week. I'm able to take a week off to do anything that's not gonna cost me thousands of dollars to travel so much. Like it's really an hour and a half away. So I was like, okay, perfect. This one's available. I would honestly say keep an open mind. I was telling myself that leading into it. Obviously, starting anything unfamiliar, you're going to feel a little bit scared and apprehensive about, but keep an open mind. Obviously, I also believe in everything happens for a reason. And if you found it and it's something that you came across and it's kind of complementary to whatever field that person is, I say go with the flow and just keep an open mind. You might really enjoy it. And if not, okay, you just spent 5 days learning something new. Boo-hoo. Tough love. It's great. I think it's great. I loved it.
So for you, how do you offer fascial stretch therapy to clients? I know you work in a clinic, and then of course you have your different things that you do, but do you offer it somehow? Do you market it in a way that people are like automatically say, what's FST? Or are they constantly I don't know. How do you guys market it basically?
Great question. And I was going to ask you the same afterwards. So our clinic is multidisciplinary. We have a lot of really fantastic practitioners. We have 2 osteopaths, 2 RMTs, 2 acupuncturists, a lymphatic drainage specialist. We have a naturopath, and I'm the head athletic therapist, and now I'm the head FST as well. And it's funny, so the way our clinic is built, the massage rooms are kind of closed off with a ceiling, and everything else is kind of open concept. That's like up top, there's no ceiling, but like individual private rooms. And you can hear people's conversations. So all the practitioners are always like, oh yeah, like you're super tight. I think you'd benefit from an FST. Oh, what's FST? Oh, like you'll meet with Shirel. Like she's everyone that goes to her, like they feel so great afterwards. It's really going to help with your tight back. And then just like a lot of the times, because we're a fairly new clinic, we're actually hitting our birthday on September 5th. So, and we've been doing really well. I'm very grateful. We're all young and hardworking and driven individuals, and we're all like-minded and want the best for each other and for ourselves. So we're always kind of rooting for each other and sending our patients and clients to each other. So a lot of my referrals for FST were word of mouth from within the clinic. or my own patients where I'm like, you know what, you came for this condition, but I feel like you would benefit from a full body or even a half, like a 30-minute upper body or lower body session. And lately, a lot of them came from the reels we've been making. I made a reel talking about what I do in a day. So the reel was basically here is me treating my 4 patients. One of them was a fascial stretch therapy session. Then I went to a hockey camp, and then I went to the dance studio, and a lot of people found this reel and were like, I'm an athlete. What's fascial stretch therapy? What dance studio do you go to? So it's like, I think it's again, it's so early on, but I'm finding all these little methods are starting to bring some clients in, which is really great. And obviously the best one is going to be word of mouth always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Mine has been, so I'm pretty new to the state that I'm in, about a year. But I used to play in a basketball league, and so I met. I remembered I met this one guy. He's the owner of this speed school, and through him, he's like, "Hey, I've been looking for someone who can stretch me." And I was like, "Great, I'm a fascial stretch practitioner. Why don't you come?" So I came in, did a session for him and his son. He was sold. He's like, "I want you to come in. I have an extra room." He has an actual room there at his place. So I was like,
amazing.
Here's a table. Go stretch people." And so from there, I was able to kind of go and do some, free taste sessions for people, especially their clients. And then now I have here in the studio right now is my FST room. So I've been doing FST here as well as I travel to people. So I'm just trying to find a niche, but I'm also trying to find a demographic because there isn't any mobile stretch therapists. There's a lot of people who have their own studios. So I figured, why not just do what I'm doing? I don't mind traveling, and I love, kind of meeting different people. So I'm kind of in the greater Baltimore area. That's who I serve. So I guess,
wow. Yeah. A lot of sports down there.
Yeah, but I'm still learning social media tactics to, bring people in. So I would say I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I could do better.
I think social media. Yeah, go ahead.
My main thing is I've been reaching out to different fitness centers. So like today I have a Gold's Gym membership appreciation night. They're like, come in every month. Great. So I'm trying to find whatever's in my radius and hitting up different businesses, small business owners.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
I don't have any credibility. So
yeah. I think earlier on in any career you do, you have to start the lowest of the low and opening up your schedule, like just opening up yourself 24/7 or as much as possible, just to network and get your name out there. That's why, like, when I started the Reflex Method, I was gonna be like, hey, let's just do dance. That's what I know. But then the hockey thing fell into my lap. I'm like, why not take that route? And then that got me like something else, and it just keeps, the more people you network with and the more you kind of spread yourself out, one of those is going to snowball into the perfect fit for you, and that's what's going to generate like more of a stable route that works for your practice. 100%. So you're doing all the right things.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I have a entrepreneur like yourself, so thank you.
You too. I mean, look at what you're doing. You're doing great stuff.
Well, I love this conversation, but it is time to close. But please, I want to help you out as well as the owner of the Reflex Method. So please share with the audience how people can follow you to book appointments to do fascial stretch or even learn more about what you're doing at the Reflex Method. So share with me your social media handle, a website if you have, an email, and then the physical location at your clinic.
Yeah, 100%. So my clinic is located in Thornhill. It's called Osteo Plus. My Reflex Method handle, so any bookings with me would go through either the Reflex Method private DM. So the Instagram is just at the Reflex Method, THEREFLEX method, so METHOD. Or you can email. So if you have any inquiries, it's the same. It's just the Reflex Method at gmail.com. Yeah, perfect. I think that'd be the best. I think we've covered all the bases. Yeah.
Awesome. Man, well, thank you so much, Shirel. I appreciate you for hopping on this during your lunchtime.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
Yes, and then if you guys do happen to know or learn more about how we got into fascial stretch therapy and the method that we're doing, it's called Stretch to Win Institute by Kristen and Frederick. You can find their website at www.stretchtowin.com. It's awesome. We love it. There's many of us. There's so much work to be done
so
in the
much
fascia.
work to be done. 100%.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I think we're gonna conclude.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck, and I'll share with you the link to this episode.
Okay, amazing.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.